everybody and welcome to another tutorial. Today I thought we would do something a little bit different and use a credit card to apply and mix our paints. As usual, all the materials that you'll need will be listed in the description box, and I hope you really enjoy the video. Okay, so here's what I'm going to be using today. I've got a little canvas which is 8 by 8 inches. Then for my colours I have titanium white, ultramarine blue, deep turquoise and orange. I've got a large brush that I'm just going to do one layer to begin. And then of course I have an old credit card. Obviously this is not an actual credit card because you would all be able to see my details. This is just an old cinema card, but it is the same as a credit card. So make sure whatever card you're going to be using is one that you're completely finished with and don't want to use again, because it will get very covered in paint after this. But first of all, as I say, I'm going to use my paintbrush just to pop down one layer. So I'm going to give my brush a little rinse and I'm going to create a little grey. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, just a bit of orange, and then quite a big lump of white. And I'm just going to start pasting that on for the first layer. Okay, lovely. So once that's done, just rinse off your brush as we won't be using it again. Right, now we're going to wait for this layer to completely dry before we come in with the credit card. So it might take 5, 10, 15 minutes, or you could use a hairdryer just to very lightly dry that. Great, so the first thing that I'm going to do now that this is dry is mark out the horizon line. So taking my credit card, I'm going to pop some ultramarine blue along this line. So to do that, I'm just going to take my credit card and lightly get the paint on the very edge of it. And I'm now going to take that and draw a line across towards where I want the horizon to be. So I'm going to pop the horizon just I don't know whether to put it up here or there. You can do it wherever you like. It depends whether you want more sky or more sea. I think I'm going to go with more sea, so I think I'm going to do it about here. So basically just take it and just draw a line across it. Then you can take some more paint if it's not picked it up the whole way across. Perfect, so that's our first line with our credit card. So now you can just wipe that off. So next we're going to start popping in the sky. So to do that, I'm going to take a bit of ultramarine. So to mix, I'm going to use the corner. So I'm just going to take some ultramarine there and some white. Now the beauty of the sky is that you don't have to mix it fully because it can look like clouds. So what I'm going to do is take that on my credit card by scooping it up. And then I'm going to take that, put the paint so that it's facing downwards and just scrape across. Now I'm going to keep doing that until I feel happy with the sky. So I've still got some paint on here. And you can see there will be areas that it doesn't quite pick it up, so you can just keep scraping over those holes in the canvas to make sure it fills it in. And this is why we did a first layer using the paintbrush, so that there's no big white gaps shining through. Lovely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white straight from the palette. And I'm going to add that in just above the horizon line. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And then I'm going to use a sideward swipe to blend that in. And you can see that it just gives it a bit of definition and makes it look like there's basically sort of a haze or some clouds. And when you're happy with that, you can just wipe off your credit card. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is the sand, which is the bottom part. So I'm going to take some orange, pop it on the mixing area of the palette. Then I'm going to take a fair bit of white. And I'm also going to take just a little bit of ultramarine blue, which is just going to take that orangeness out. And just going to mix that up. And we're just going to keep mixing till we get the colour that we want. So I'm going to add in a little bit more white to that because I feel like it's still a bit too orange. So now I'm going to pop in this bit of sand here. So starting about here, just going to take that down. And you can use your card to sort of blend that up a little bit, because then when we pop on the sea, it can just slightly overlap that. So then wipe off your credit card again. Great, so next we're going to go onto the middle section, which is obviously the sea. So first of all, I'm just going to clean off this a little bit using my credit card. So first of all, I'm going to take some of the deep turquoise. I'm going to add in just a little bit of ultramarine. I'm going to add in a tiny bit of orange too, just to take that tone down just a little bit. Great, and next I'm going to add just a little bit of white. Okay, so taking that, I'm just going to pop it along the top, just underneath the horizon, and then using a sideways motion, I'm going to blend that in. Then wipe off that credit card. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is take some ultramarine and add in a bit of white, just like we did for the sky. And you can add quite a bit of white into this mixture. Okay, and then I'm going to pop that in the middle, and this is basically going to be a reflection of the sky. So when the waves sort of make the sand wet, it's going to reflect the sky. Okay, and then wipe off your card. Next, what I'm going to do is take some of the deep turquoise, and I'm going to add quite a bit of white to that to make a lovely, sort of like an aqua colour. Then I'm going to pop that just along here. And that's going to sort of be where the sunlight is hitting the sea and making these lovely colours come up. And then you can just blend that in. That's really, really great. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the waves. So now that sort of the base layer done with the credit card, so we're going to wait for that to dry now. Okay, mine is almost dry. It's just slightly tacky, but that's okay. Because we're putting quite a lot of paint on, it does take a while for these layers to dry. So if you don't want to wait fully, then when it's tacky, should be absolutely fine. Next, we're going to pop in some of the waves. So taking the shorter edge of my credit card, I'm just going to dip that along the white paint. And then we're going to use the line to really create some nice waves. So I'm popping in a line, and then I'm just going to use a downwards motion, sort of create that wave. Okay, and then wipe off your credit cards. Next, I'm going to take some of the white and I'm going to pop it on the palette, but I don't really want it on my edge. I sort of want it on this area here. So I'm going to just tap it onto the palette like that. And then I'm going to give it one tap onto the paper towel just to take the most of it off. And then onto the painting, I'm going to use that tapping motion coming onto the shore. Then rinse off your card. I'm going to take now a bit of orange and a bit of ultramarine. And in fact, I might even add a bit of deep turquoise into that. So we've got all the colours together. And when it's quite deep, I'm going to take that on the smaller edge of my card. And I'm just going to work in from sort of like an underneath the waves perspective. So using a circular-ish motion. then I'm going to wipe off my credit card. So we're going to wait for that to dry now. While we wait for that to dry, I'm going to take my smaller edge and I'm going to dip it along the deep turquoise. And then I'm going to pop in some more lines across the ocean, which is just going to build up the layers. And I'm just going to give the illusion of lots of waves into the distance. And then I'm just going to wipe that off. Next I'm going to take the deep turquoise on the longer edge and we're going to pop in the horizon line again, because obviously with all the different layers it can go a little bit squiff. So I'm just going to pop that in again to make sure that is straight. Okay, lovely. Once you've done that, now I'm going to take some of the ultramarine on the longer edge and I'm going to pop that just underneath the horizon line, just to create that like effect that it's really deep sea in the background. And then I'm going to wipe off my card. So then we're going to wait for this to completely dry, because we're just going to pop in a wave over the top of that and then we should be done. Great, so when you think that this is dry, we're going to go back in with a wave. So on the short edge of my card, I'm going to take some of the white and starting from the bottom and just going in an upwards direction. And you can also use the corner to sort of aggregate and make patterns in that. And then I'm going to bring that down as well. And you can, as I say, you can use the edge of your card to just add some little flicks. And bits of detail. So using a little bit of the sand colour, I actually have a bit left on my palette here, but it was just orange white with a bit of ultramarine. I'm going to add just a few little bits of that colour into the sea. So I'm going to add in the bottom of the wave now, so taking some white, just going to pop in like a much whiter area, which is going to be the bottom of the wave. And I'm just going to create that darker colour again, which was deep turquoise, a bit of orange and a bit of ultramarine. And just tracing with the corner, like underneath that wave. Just to give it a little shadow. And there we go. I think I'm going to leave it there. So obviously you guys can just keep going until you're happy with it. I think for now I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, today's tutorial was more of an experiment trying to use a credit card. So I never expected it to be a complete masterpiece, but I just thought it was something fun, unique to try, using tools that we probably already have lying around the house. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that tutorial. As always, I'd love to see your creations online, so if you do put them on Instagram, then make sure you tag me in. I'd love to see your version of it. And hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. Cheers guys, bye!